Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb has suggested the Three-Eye Atlas is actually some type of alien technology.
Imagine a comet so strange that the very scientists tracking it are no longer sure it's a comet at all. First, it appeared harmless, just another icy traveler drifting through space. But then the numbers changed, and with them, the entire story.
Astronomers are continuing to track a newly spotted object, likely a comet, from outside our solar system. The interloper, named Three-Eye Atlas, was first spotted on July 1st.
Now, what was once dismissed as a routine flyby may actually be something far more dangerous and possibly not even natural.
This is not a rock. And in that case, maybe it's targeting the inner solar system. We know that the trajectory is very well aligned with the planets.
This mysterious interstellar object known as Three-Eye Atlas isn't just speeding through the solar system, it might be steering. It was first spotted on July 1st, and at the time, nobody thought much of it. Astronomers catalog new comets and asteroids all the time, and this one looked like just another frozen visitor from beyond our solar system. The early calculations painted a calm picture. Three-Eye Atlas would pass by, maybe put on a spectacular light show as it swung near Mars, and then disappear back into the dark. A harmless encounter, a cosmic drive-by that barely made headlines. For months, that's all it was supposed to be. But buried in those first numbers was a detail almost everyone overlooked. The object wasn't moving like the other comets we know. And when the updates started rolling in, that quiet assumption of safety began to crumble. Then came the recalculations, the moment everything shifted. Instead of holding steady, Three-Eye Atlas's trajectory was tightening, as if some invisible hand was nudging it closer and closer to Mars. Even stranger, its speed wasn't just high, it was record-breaking. Nearly 87 kilometers per second relative to the sun. That's fast enough to cross the distance between Earth and the Moon in less than 80 minutes. Nothing we've ever tracked from interstellar space has moved like this before. Normally, comets wobble and drift as gravity pulls them around, but this one wasn't wobbling. It was adjusting. Each hour, tiny gravitational tugs from the Sun, Jupiter, and Mars should have caused minor, random shifts. Instead, the path was narrowing with uncanny precision, as though the object itself was aware of where it was going. And if the numbers were right, its destination was no longer a harmless pass. It was lining up with Mars itself. The deeper astronomers looked, the stranger Three-Eye Atlas became. By late August, its hazy halo, the glowing coma that surrounds most comets, had doubled in brightness. But this wasn't normal sunlight bouncing off dust. Ultraviolet spikes were flashing through the spectrum, bursts of energy far too intense for ordinary cometary physics. And then came the biggest shock. The tail wasn't venting gas randomly. Instead, it released plumes in precise, clock-like bursts once every 17 minutes. Day after day, the rhythm stayed exact, like the ticking of a metronome. That's not how comets behave. Natural eruptions happen when sunlight hits fresh ice pockets, but those jets are chaotic, unpredictable. Here, the pulses looked deliberate, like controlled thrusters firing in sequence. To some scientists, it felt less like watching a comet, and more like watching a spacecraft quietly adjusting its course. That precision opened up a terrifying possibility. Updated trajectory models now show Three-Eye Atlas coming within just 1.95 million kilometers of Mars on September 26, 2025. For planetary astronomers, that distance is razor thin, a cosmic hair's breadth. At such proximity, Mars' own gravity could pull on the object strongly enough to alter its course even further. And here's the chilling part. It wouldn't take much to turn a near miss into a direct strike. A tiny velocity boost, barely 10 kilometers per second, could shift the path enough for impact only weeks later. To put that in perspective, that's less than the power SpaceX's Starship uses just to break free of Earth's gravity. If a collision did happen, the consequences would be devastating. With an estimated mass of 10 billion tons and a metallic core nearly 400 meters wide, the energy released on impact would rival 2 million megatons of TNT. That's thousands of times more powerful than the largest nuclear device ever detonated on Earth. The crater could stretch 60 kilometers wide, blasting debris into Mars' orbit and even hurling fragments into interplanetary space. For the spacecraft currently circling and roving Mars, the reconnaissance orbiter, Perseverance, and more, a strike like this wouldn't just scar the planet. It could wipe out decades of human exploration in an instant. As if the trajectory wasn't alarming enough, new data hinted at something even stranger hiding inside Three-Eye Atlas. Leaked radar scans from NASA's Deep Space Network showed echoes that didn't resemble soft ice and dust. Instead, the signals bounced back hard, as if striking metal. That's unheard of for a comet. Rumors began spreading that the object's core might contain alloys no natural process could create in the cold of interstellar space. If true, that would mean we're not looking at a chunk of frozen rock at all, but something engineered. An artificial shell wrapped in ice designed to survive the brutal journey between stars. For scientists, this raised a question no one wanted to say out loud. Was Three-Eye Atlas built? That question, was it built, is exactly what Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb has been warning about. Along with his student Adam Hibbard, Loeb argues that the comet's bizarre behavior makes far more sense if it's not a comet at all, but some kind of technology. Their paper, already circulating online, lays out a bold scenario. 3I Atlas might be a directed messenger, launched long ago by an advanced civilization. The idea is simple but staggering. Each 17-minute pulse of gas isn't just random venting, it's steering. Like reaction thrusters on a spacecraft, the object could be using its own sublimated exhaust to fine-tune its trajectory as it enters our planetary neighborhood. In fact, Loeb suggests it might not even be aiming for a clean pass. Instead, it could be preparing a deliberate encounter with Mars, whether that means depositing probes, releasing detectable material, or even crashing on purpose to leave behind evidence of its origin. And if that sounds far-fetched, consider this. Europe's Mars Express has photographed 3 faint glinting points of light in orbit around Mars, arranged in a perfect triangle. At first they were dismissed as cosmic rays, but they showed up in the exact same positions across multiple passes. Could these be fragments or even probes ejected by 3I Atlas on an earlier approach? Behind the scenes, the world's space agencies are already taking this seriously. NASA has quietly repurposed the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter as a forward radar to track every move 3I Atlas makes. High-gain antennas at Goldstone have been bouncing signals off its core, and insiders claim the echoes don't match any known comet signature. Across the Atlantic, the European Space Agency has held closed-door sessions with Roscosmos, JAXA, and China's CNSA, forming emergency task forces with no public explanation. What are they preparing for? Some whisper it's planetary defense protocols, the same playbook designed for an asteroid threat to Earth, now being adapted for Mars. For the first time in history, astronomers are openly debating whether humanity should attempt to intercept or even destroy an interstellar object before it strikes another world. The stakes aren't just scientific curiosity anymore. If 3I Atlas really is artificial, the decision to act, or not, could shape how we meet an intelligence beyond our own. As September draws closer, the comet's behavior keeps adding new layers of unease. Amateur astronomers have captured eerie images of its tail splitting into 3 narrow beams of green light, pulsing in perfect sync with the gas bursts. Under long exposure, those beams appear to converge, pointing straight toward Mars, almost like a cosmic targeting system. And the danger doesn't end there. If 3I Atlas were to collide with Mars, the blast would fling debris far beyond the planet. Some models even suggest fragments could escape into interplanetary space and eventually drift toward Earth within a decade. If those fragments carried anything engineered, microbes, nanotech, or probes, the risk wouldn't stop at Mars. It could spread across the entire inner solar system. That possibility has left scientists with a chilling dilemma. Do nothing, and we risk watching an alien technology crash into our neighboring planet. Act too aggressively, and we could trigger something we don't understand. Either way, 3I Atlas is no longer just a distant curiosity. It's a test of how humanity responds when the unknown arrives on our doorstep. So what exactly is 3I Atlas? The evidence no longer fits the picture of a harmless comet drifting through space. Its course is tightening, its pulses are precise, and its core might not even be natural. To some, it behaves less like a rock and more like a vehicle. And with September's close approach to Mars just around the corner, the critical window for answers is closing fast. Maybe it's a natural phenomenon unlike anything we've seen before. Maybe it's something more, a messenger, a probe, or even a relic from a civilization far older than ours. Either way, the universe has placed a question right in front of us, and soon Mars may bear the answer. But what do you think? Is 3I Atlas just an unusual comet, or the first undeniable evidence that we're not alone? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates. Because whatever happens next, this story is far from over.